love, sometimes you get fucked, sometimes you get blown, sometimes you just sell it. So sell it for freedom, sell it for hope, sell it for skincare, sell it for soap, sell it for justice, sell it for love, sell it for shoes, sell it for gloves.
I'll see the end of that very soon. Earlier, you're here today, mate. How is it? Can we hear you? Where are you?
Yep.
Got you straight away, mate. Fantastic. World Cup final. We've got to go to the... Mate, the World Cup's over. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's all over.
It's been fantastic, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed it. It was probably the best tournament I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I've sort of watched them since 1990, and yeah, I can't remember one that I enjoyed more, actually. I mean, I really liked the Japan one, Japan-Korea.
Yep.
I thought I enjoyed that. I liked the Brazilian side in that, but no, this tournament had it all, and it was good to see some of the big dogs get knocked out, in surprise results, and yeah.
Isn't
pretty
it
entertaining?
Isn't it interesting? Because we have this chat every week about who's going to win this and who's going to win that, who's going to be here next week. And isn't it interesting if you see on Facebook and all these media sites now where social media kicks in and all these people saying, "Oh yeah, I told you a month ago France were going to win."
Yeah,
and it's like, mate, they were the favourites. What do you expect?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But they definitely stepped it up, didn't they? And
I watched their game against Australia, and
yes,
I was like, man, they look like a rabble, you know, and they had Dembele starting with Mbappe and Griezmann, the three of them, and sort of playing like what were they playing? A 4-3-3? I don't know. I think it was something like that, and or maybe it was a 4-5-1. Yeah, but yeah, either way, it didn't really work. And everyone was like, oh, man, that wasn't very convincing, even though they won that game over Australia. Was it 2-0 in the end, that one?
Was it 2-1 against Australia? No, it was 2-0, wasn't it?
I mean 1-0 or 2-0, but yeah, they won. And they didn't look that good. But then...
Australians were unlucky in that game, to be fair. They could have got a result there.
Yeah, they could have got a draw, I thought. But, oh, yeah, they scored. That's right. Yep. It was 2-1, eh?
Yep.
Yeah, Zidane got a penalty,
that's right.
But, no, then he changed... Deschamps changed his team around. He put Giroud back up front, and then, they looked pretty good after that. They went all the way to the final.
I've got to ask you this question. I mean, I've got my point of view, but I want to hear yours, especially from an outfield player. He left players at home, but he got players who obviously they had a wonderful team environment, which is something French often lack. They lack with the big star qualities, don't they? They struggle to get on with each other at times, and that's led to a lot of French teams having difficulty in the past. They won the tournament, I think it was 1998 was the last time when Zinedine scored a couple, wasn't it, against Brazil? And
98.
So they've won it, in the last 5 World Cups, they've won it twice, which is pretty phenomenal. And Deschamps now is only one of 3. I think it's Beckenbauer and Zagallo, the Brazilian, who've been a player and a coach. So he'll be here, and I believe that although everything's been going great in the World Cup vicinity, that is Russia, obviously, I believe there's been some writing back in France.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of French people who don't really like Macron.
Oh, really?
The president. He's a bit too right wing for their liking, or he plays himself as being centrist, but he's centre right, and France is sort of a pretty left-leaning country, and there's a lot of people concerned about his attitudes towards workers and things like that. So there's a bit of underlying tension there. But apparently, it was a group of thugs, according to the French media or whoever. But and they got it all tidied up, and I don't think it was too bad in the end. It was just some maniacs who can't handle their party, and
probably some of your
happens in New Zealand all the time.
I was just going to say, mate, you have it done at Carterton every weekend on a Saturday, don't you?
Pretty much. Featherston, Carterton. It's all just wild bloody wild whited upper.
Yeah, it is, mate. And you fit in very well. Tell me, where did you watch the game this morning? Did you watch it from the comfort of your own home, or did you
I went down to the club rooms, actually. They opened that up and put on a bit of a breakfast and, had a quiet beer with the game, and yeah, it was not too bad.
Is that on the old 32-inch at your club rooms? Is that the?
No, it was a big screen, but I took a photo and
Facebook shot I saw, mate.
Yeah, I was standing a long way back from the TV.
I know, I'm joking.
Yeah.
No, but it's always good to have a beer and watch a bit of football with your mates in your club rooms, isn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
So, how did you do in the weekend?
Yeah, we lost to our sort of arch rivals, Greytown FC, who actually, there was a mass exodus from Carterton a couple of years ago where Greytown picked up about 15 Carterton players or something, or 10 or 15, and it's been a bit of a sore subject with the club. Well, some people in the club anyway, because there was sort of just some bad blood that sort of arose a few years ago. Phil Kindsley took over Carterton FC and sort of, it wasn't that popular, and a lot of people left the club and took off to clubs in Masterton and Greytown.
And he's no longer there now, is he?
No, he took off when they built the turf and relocated Wairarapa United to the turf, and there's not a lot. I mean, not a lot of people have a higher regard for
what
him in some ways and for what happened. But grudge match, and they sort of had it over us. They had this new player who he looked like he must play quite a decent league wherever he came from. It was his first game for them. He must have been playing like maybe Cap 1 or a decent league in another region, because he was just, he was head and shoulders above most people on the pitch.
Oh, yeah.
And, and they sort of had a few young guys, and we had some areas that were lacking cover. And we did, I think they went 1 up and then we equalised, and it was 1-1 at the break, but then they got 4 in the second half, and they sort of rolled us. But I got a penalty. I got a thrown to me, and the ball sort of bounced up in front of my face, and then one of the centre back tried to hook it clear with his foot, and he ended up just pretty much, he would have booted me in the head, but the ball was in the way, and so the ref blew it up and gave me a penalty. So I wasn't going to argue.
No, of course.
Yeah. So I just
we don't need that on a Saturday afternoon, mate. Come on.
No. So I just slotted that home, which was good, and then we were sort of in the match. It was not too bad, but it sort of got away from us in the end.
You must be near the old I was thinking Golden Boot now. You must be way up there for your team this year.
No way, man.
In your team?
No.
Surely.
No, there's another guy, Mark Miles. He's a good little player, actually.
Yep.
I think he represented New Zealand at junior level. But he's a gun striker. He gets quite a few goals for us. I mean, if we didn't have him up front, we'd be pretty woeful, actually. He's a really nice player to have to aim to, because you can put a decent through ball in, and he'll 9 out of 10 times he'll get to it.
He's got a bit of pace.
Oh, he's got some good pace and some good skills. Good
that's
finisher.
Something you can't.
He's a nice, relaxed finisher as well. You know, it's like it's like that World Cup final was. In some of those. Yeah, I mean, there's been a bit of sort of complaints about the goals, and was Griezmann taken out? I thought there was a slight contact with his shin, and maybe he felt like the guy was going to follow through, and then he fell over, and it was one of those ones. The ref was probably at the wrong angle, and he just thought, "Wow, that's a foul." And I mean, the odd thing is that there was the Croatians didn't ask for the VAR. On that decision, and so you had to think, I mean, because some people said, that was never a free kick, but you say, well, why didn't they ask for the VAR then? Because it must have been a free kick, there must have been some contact, otherwise why did they not call for VAR?
Well, I was in my semi-awake, semi-asleep sort of state, and I didn't think it was a free kick.
Same here, man. When I initially saw it, I was like, man, he's just dove and he's got a free kick, but then I saw a replay, and it did look like the toe of the guy's boot, which isn't much, but I mean, it looked like I hit him in the shin pad. Just it wasn't really bad, but it was enough, and it was a foul. So maybe. I mean, it sort of looked. Yeah, and then unfortunately, Mandzukic, got ahead to it, and it sped it up into the goal. It was pretty unlucky for Subasic,
Yeah, well, he only got
it was a nice hit though, and it was a reasonably. It wasn't like a thunderbolt, but he did hit it well.
Oh well, he's put it in the mix, hasn't he?
Yeah,
so he's got the faintest of touches, but he couldn't get up any higher to get it away. Unfortunately, he couldn't flick it over the top. He just got enough to flick it over the guys behind him into that corner, and the keeper's going, oh, no. And
then they did well, and they came back.
Yeah, the goal where they scored to come back was fantastic, wasn't it? Lovely
nice
peg.
goal. And Vida set it up as well, and he's a handy player. I did notice at the end of the game, Mandzukic was yelling at him. At Vida, the centre-back.
Yep.
And I think that was maybe because he held off Mbappe, and Mbappe scored that sort of quite good goal.
Well, I felt sorry for the keeper on that because I think the keeper was unsighted.
Oh, he's completely unsighted, but he also, I think Mbappe sort of looked, the way he shaped his body before he hit that, it looked like he was going to go for the top other corner.
Yep, 100%.
And then he just snaked it into the bottom. It was really well done, eh? I mean, that was quality, like, because he didn't hit it that, I mean, he hit it well, but he didn't really spank it, and because he did that slight body movement, I think he deceived the keeper there slightly, and it was enough.
Yeah, I think the keeper was...
And he couldn't see.
Yeah, he couldn't see it. It was in the back of the net before he dived, really, wasn't it?
No, it was a good hit.
And then and Pogba, Paul Pogba's
he got a nice bounce there, that rebound straight to him.
No.
And then...
He was good, though. He was
Subasic had actually gone the other way.
Yep.
And then he went, and then he, and as a keeper... If you're going the other way and then they hit it the other way, it's almost impossible to get back,
difficult.
Isn't it?
Yeah, very difficult.
If there's few keepers in the world who can actually do that. Not many, are there?
No, there's not. And he to be able to stay on your feet for so long and to shuffle across, and because you just it's a big ask. Did
you think Courtois deserved the?
Yeah, I thought he was great.
I
thought he was great.
Good,
I thought he was really good. I thought Modric's got player of the tournament, didn't he? And Mbappe got a young player of the year. Of the tournament.
Yeah.
I thought he was. I read an article the other day where he was going on about life at Paris Saint-Germain. Where he's been getting a really hard time from the Brazilians, and that's obviously Neymar Jr. And who's the other Brazilian there?
Thiago Silva.
No. Oh, the other one. Left back or right? No, not left. The right back. He used to play.
Bloody. Oh, God,
it'll come to us in a minute. It'll come.
Played for Barcelona.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Apparently, what's his name again?
It's you keep thinking of it, and I'll keep talking. But he was getting a real hard time from them because they believe that. He's got pace, but he's got about as much skill as a chicken
now, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Neymar was an embarrassment to football at a tournament. He was the low point of the tournament for me. The way he played and carried on, it was like, I mean, he did play well at certain times, but the way he carried on was just, I mean, it was embarrassing to be a football fan, and you're trying to, stick up for the game, and then this idiot's rolling around on the ground what was wrong with him? It's like.
Well, so many people have actually come up. Peter Schmeichel, I saw an interview with him yesterday, and he was iterating what you've just said now, is that it's embarrassing that you can get a player who's meant to be one of the best, if not the best in the world, doing that and that sort of character. Because it just takes away from him as a player.
You just get up and start playing the game, mate.
Exactly.
It's like you don't. I mean, you look at none of the French carried on like that. None of the Croatians did carry on like that, and they both made the final, and that sort of says it all, really.
And just a shocking advertisement for the game, isn't it?
But I was really impressed with the entire tournament, and that final. I had a look into it, and that final was actually the most goals scored in the final since 1966. Yeah. So there was one other game that came close. That was 1970 when Brazil beat Italy 4-1. And then there was Argentina, West Germany 86 was 3-2. But
what was it? 66 was
4-3,
wasn't it? 4-2.
Yeah, to
Jeff
England.
Hurst. Jeff Hurst got a hat trick, didn't he?
And
that's
but
right.
yeah, I mean, you look at the last three. They were 1-0 Germany. After extra time, 1-0 Spain after extra time, and 1-1 Italy and France, and Italy won on penalties. And, then before that there was 2002 Brazil 2-0, France 98 3-0. And good tournament, really enjoyed it.
Where are we going to next tournament?
Oh, isn't it Qatar?
Qatar, it is too, isn't it?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. They're going to have air-conditioned stadiums, aren't they?
They're going to have air-conditioned stadiums and big fans around the pitch, apparently, so players will have and they're also going to be having timeouts, that's what I believe. So
really?
Yeah.
Timeouts?
I don't know whether that's a good thing or not.
God, they better not do that, man.
Well, I reckon...
isn't he going to try and bump the number of teams up again as well, Infantino?
No, it's not this one. It's the next World Cup, isn't it?
I can't believe it. I mean...
Yeah, it's the next one. I think they want about 1 million next time.
Every
team that plays can go in there. I know.
That's madness, eh? You can't have 48 teams at the World Cup. That's ridiculous.
Well, what's the point of having the qualifiers? We'll go and play Japan. We'll play Fiji next week and a qualifier, and then we'll meet them there. It's like, here we go, boys. Thanks for coming.
Now, what else? I mean, that tournament that tournament, it sort of had it all, It was great.
I thought from the start, what I like about it is you arrived there, and the only rain I ever saw was during the closing ceremony when they were getting the trophy and it was started to pour down. But so the conditions, it was wonderful weather. The pitches obviously are going to be fantastic. But everyone played the game and supported the game with a smile on their face, and besides Neymar, I think, and the Brazilian team. And and that's, like you said, it's going to go down as a big black mark against them. And to be fair, mate, even though Brazil, a country of about, 250, 300 million people, is the sort of pinnacle as far as football goes, they've let themselves down in the last sort of 5 to 10
it'd be good if Tite would just go, right, Neymar, you're out. If you carry this on, we don't need you. Would there be riots? Maybe, but but then there might not be. They might be like, go sort it out, Neymar. But the Brazilians they're going to come back again at the next, tournament and be good again. But
they will. But hey, we'll see how it goes before then. And I just wanted to play some French music for you, mate, because I know that you love your French music. And here's a bit of a congratulations to France. And there's some Edith.
Oh, nice.
Des yeux qui font baisser les miens, un rire qui se perd sur sa bouche, voilà le portrait sans retouche de l'homme auquel j'appartiens. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, qu'il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, que ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi, moi pour lui dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, l'a juré pour la vie. Et dès que je l'aperçois, alors je sens dans moi mon cœur qui bat. Des nuits d'amour à plus finir, un grand bonheur qui prend sa place, des ennuis, des chagrins s'effacent, heureux, heureux, sans mourir. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est toi pour moi, moi pour toi dans la vie. Tu me l'as dit, m'as juré pour la vie. Dès que je t'aperçois, alors je sens dans moi mon cœur qui bat.
Nothing wrong with that bit of Edith. Hey, I was going to ask you, tell me a player who's played and won twice as a player and also once as a manager.
Zagallo.
That's the one.
Yeah,
How phenomenal was that? 58,
that's
62.
pretty impressive. Yeah.
Well, 58, 62, and then that's 70. It's only 8 years
and
later.
1970 is like sort of renowned as being like the best tournament ever.
And the best Brazilian team ever, I believe, with Pelé and all the stars, wasn't it?
But they did. I mean, the thing about the 1970 World Cup and those earlier World Cups, maybe even up until perhaps, say, 98, is that they weren't playing so many games in the season, the top players. No. Now they just play too many games, mate. They play 60 games, and then they're meant to turn up to the World Cup, and everyone expects them to be fresh and firing, and it's like they're just not going to be, you know. And it's like, and guys like Messi and Ronaldo, they've played 60 games and their teams rely on them. They carry their teams at time. And then everyone's like, oh, well, they're not as good as Pelé. And it's like, yeah, but Pelé didn't have to play 60 games a season, man. He didn't play anything near it. It was like, it's just, I don't think a lot of people realise the physical demands on the players. Now, admittedly, they do have a lot better teams around them looking after them and things like that. But you get tired, it's like, and that's one thing about the World Cup and the way it played out is that there was a noticeable tiredness about some of the teams, Like the Germany didn't look, they didn't look quite right, and it was probably most of their players are at top clubs and they do play a lot of games.
Yeah.
And they just, maybe they were just tired, and that's sort of, everyone's like, oh, they went to pieces, they were rubbish, but even if they had Sane, would he really have? He played bloody 60 games, didn't he, or something? Or he played a lot of games. They've all played. Admittedly, the French, they conserved energy, the French, really. They didn't run around a lot. The Croatian, in that final today, the Croatians were the one doing all the running. They were running hard and they were playing well, but the French were had played that sort of style of sort of just taking things easy and then exploding with pace.
Yep. It just shows what pace does, doesn't it? Pace just absolutely kills teams. And if you don't have it, you're going to battle. And I think we spoke about this last week about the, will the Croatians be able to deal with the pace of the French? And then as you just stated, they struggled with that speed that the French had, and it was like they had about 3 or 4 Thierry Henrys. Remember back in the day when Thierry Henry used to run around, just fanatical.
Yeah, Henry, amazing, one of my favourite players ever, even if he did play for Arsenal.
Yeah, well, I played against him, mate, and
I remember you saying,
and he was just.
Oh, that must have been amazing.
I couldn't believe the pace, but he'd do nothing. He'd walk around just very relaxed and lackadaisical, and then bang, and he's gone, and he's like, and Chris Sorosich, our captain, was trying to pick him up, and he's like, 10 yards behind him. Sorry if you're out there listening, but it did look pretty funny at the time.
That would have been tough on him for sure.
But Mbappe and all those guys, they are freaks, mate. Because they're just
he's so fast, isn't he? He's like I think he's one of the fastest players I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's quick.
I can't try to think of anyone who's I've seen that's as quick as that guy, and I don't think who is.
Well, I think Ronaldo's probably.
He definitely
quick.
when he was.
Yeah, when he was super,
say
23 now, isn't he?
Yeah, when he was like 27, 26, he was pretty bloody fast, wasn't he?
But the guy's got he's got pace to burn, and what I like about him is he seems pretty honest as well, the way he goes about it. Like you said, he doesn't fool around. And
there was one incident actually in the game against Brazil where someone, I think, brushed him in the head and he fell down on the ground, and I think it was Brazil when France beat Brazil, didn't they? Yeah.
I've got so much football on football out, mate.
Yeah, I can't even remember who beat. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Brazil, and he fell over and he made a ham of it. But then I think he sort of got the message after that not to do that. But he's definitely and he does. He looks like he enjoys football, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's one thing.
And that's one of the best things about it. Yeah, he's like the former Ronaldo.
Yeah,
always played like that. Right. He was always happy to be out there running around.
Yep. And Ronaldinho, another player like that.
Yeah, Ronaldinho. Well, play with a smile on your face. Eh?
And like Samba type football, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I also felt the only thing about Ronaldinho is he took the Samba into the nightclubs too much, I think, rather than going to the football park and training, mate. So probably a letdown. But
he won so much so early in his career. You'd probably got a little bit complacent. Which is you can sort of understand in a way. He won the World Cup. He was part of that squad in 2002, I'm pretty sure.
No, he wasn't, was he? No, he didn't he leave? Didn't he sit on the? He may have sat on the bench there as a 19. No. No, he would have been, because I played against him in 1999 when he was 19 in the Confederations Cup.
Yeah.
So 2002 would have been 22. He would have been there.
Yeah. No, I think I recall him reading somewhere that he won a medal there. But there was one thing I was going to say more about the final is that Croatia played like first 20. Like, man, they were good.
Going to smash him.
France looked half asleep.
Yep.
I was just like, man, what are France doing? You know, they're just like, and then they slowly got their rhythm. But Croatia, I thought, definitely outplayed them for large portions of that match.
Yep.
Like they played better football. They had a bit of zip. Their passing was really accurate and fast. The ball speed was really good, and that pace that the French had that was so damaging was negated by the Croatian ball speed, which is the thing that coaches always tell you, like the ball's faster than the man.
Yep.
And they did that really well, you know, and they sort of had the French system worked out, it looked like, and you were like, well, where are the French? What's going to happen? And then they won that free kick that was sort of, some people were saying, well, is that even a free kick? And, you know, I'm going to have to watch it again, because I remember seeing it and I was like, man, that was a dive. And then I saw one replay and it looked like, you know, shin got touched. And then they scored, and it's like, wow, how did the French manage that? You know, now they're 1-0 up.
On that, I think I at the time didn't think it was a free kick, but obviously with the amount of replays, you know, we're privileged to and the referee's not, you know, it's easy for us to make that call. But they scored to the, I thought Croatia did very well to score early, you know, pretty much straight away to get back into it. Yeah, so it wasn't like, because I thought if 1-0 down, they could go a few down. And that's what was my fear. I thought they've weathered the storm, France, now, and now they've scored against run of play. Now they're going to score a couple. But no, Croatia came straight back. France scored another one, you know, and then they scored a third and then a fourth, and then, you know, then the keeper gave them one, so that was nice.
Yeah,
but
Lloris,
what's going on with these keepers, mate? I mean, it's...
Well, he was just, maybe they were 4-1 up, and he was just being a bit arrogant, wasn't he?
With his left
really?
foot, it's like,
he's done that before. I've seen him do that before.
For Spurs?
But a lot of the time he gets away with it, where he does that little fake and then shimmy. Yeah. And he one time not to do it, maybe. Good on Mandzukic for sticking a foot out like that. Yeah. It was bloody good striking.
He was a good part of the game. He was a big part of the tournament, wasn't he, Mandzukic?
Well, he was. Last week I was saying that, you know, Kane was going to have it over Mandzukic. Yeah. You know, and based on form prior to the World Cup, you would have thought so. I mean, even though Mandzukic did have a good season again with Juventus, but Kane just looked sharper. But then Kane actually just trailed off badly, didn't he? Like, he looked terrible in that Belgium game. He didn't even run. It was like, I thought, Southgate's, you know, he's a better manager than I am. I mean, obviously, that's why I'm not managing the England team. But but I sort of thought, man, why didn't he bring on Vardy a bit? Because Kane was noticeably not on the match. And it's like he was sort of worried about them getting to penalties or something. He was going to leave Kane on because Kane's an excellent penalty taker. But
just for his enthusiasm, Vardy. You know,
Vardy's just a totally different player. Yeah. Like the way he chases things.
That's what I mean.
He's got that electric pace. He's got he's so much quicker than Kane.
Yep.
And then maybe Rashford and Kane on earlier for Sterling. And
Rashford would have been a good call.
Rashford and Vardy on for Kane and Sterling might have been. They might have actually threatened a bit more, but Belgium. Croatia had them sort of wrapped up. You know, by the time they brought Vardy and Rashford on, it was too late.
Well, I thought Kane was very poor after the group stage.
Yeah, no, he didn't look that good, did he?
And I don't know
why. He's probably
why.
just tired out, maybe. I don't mean who knows.
I can't imagine why, but he did look average. And I thought,
he does get a lot better service playing for Spurs, though.
Oh yeah, of course.
You know, he has Eriksen. And he doesn't have. I mean, you look at England; they don't have an Eriksen, do they? I mean, they've got Lingard, who could, in a few years, be capable of sort of emulating someone like Eriksen, but he's not there yet.
No.
He's a good few years away from that, and they didn't have anyone really like that. Like, I think Loftus-Cheek was good, but the English were a bit disappointing, really, in that Croatia game.
Well, let's go back a bit now and just have a look at that Croatia game against the English and. What was the score? The thing was 2-1 to Croatia, wasn't it?
2-1, yeah.
England were 1-0 up. They
Great
scored
free
early.
kick.
Yep.
Yeah.
They scored
Magic
early.
Trippier was the lovely hit. And Modric actually gave away the free kick.
Oh, did he? I can't remember that.
Yeah.
But they were England up until even till after they scored, they were looking good, and they had. I think what was refreshing for the English, and even for someone like myself, who's not a big English fan. I know that you quite like them, but I've got a lot of mates of mine who are English, but.
I like the team because there's Manchester United players in it pretty much. And the same
not enough, though. Not enough Man United players in there. It should be 11 of them. So.
Yeah, well, Rashford should have got more game time, I thought. And,
But I actually thought, wow, I'm actually getting into this English team. I'm quite enjoying it. They're not coming here with the big heads and the big names.
They're a bit more. They seemed a bit more honest.
Yeah, I mean, even though they had that, it's coming home. I don't know what's coming home.
That was a piss take. I
thought. I know. So did I.
You know what the English are like? They're having a laugh, mate.
Exactly. But. They set themselves up when they do stuff like that.
They do, though. But they sort of know that as well. I mean, a lot of people just don't get the joke, though. There was this thing going around, and Modric gave this interview, and he's like, well, their media's overconfidence drove us to the win and all this.
That's why I saw it,
And it was sort of like, I don't know if they were really that serious, Luca, I mean, it's just that sort of weird English humour where they're like, they're taking the mickey a bit, really, because they really, I mean, you have to be nuts to think that team was going to win the World Cup because they were never going to beat France.
Well, I saw that Goran Ivanisevic, remember the tennis player? Goran Ivanisevic, he's Croatian.
Yeah.
And he said the same stuff. He said, the English, they think they're beautiful, they think they're the best. I just want them to lose, and I'll be watching it in a bar tonight and celebrating when they lose. And no one's going, I sort of understand what you're saying, but you've got to realise that the English humour is quite paramount there as well, and
totally,
they take the mickey a bit, don't they, mate? And it's quite fun. And to be fair, mate, I mean, I think the English have got a bit more humour than the Croatians have flowing through their bones, mate. Sorry, Croatia, but
No, they it's funny sort of attitudes there, but and then the English Croatia, excellent turnaround in that match, eh? Like, I mean, how they turned that game. I mean, England should have had it sewn up in the first half. They could have gone 2 up. Lingard stuffed up that shot from the edge. He should have buried that.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
And, I mean, he scored, the screamer he scored to win the FA Cup the other year, goals like that. And then you see him do that and you're like, what's going on, Jesse, mate? And, and then the Croatians just, they just turned the screws in the second half. I think in the second half they had 11 shots to 1.
I actually thought, was it that much?
I think it was, yeah.
I was going to say, was it that bad?
It was just a barrage.
I was rooting for the Croatians to win, okay? But I actually felt it was embarrassing the second half how badly they were dominating the game.
Took them to pieces,
they
mate.
Just ripped them.
They really showed how good they were in that game.
And
that was really good to see, and it was good. It was nice to see Croatia really click in that game and really show what a footballing side they were. And then they had their amazing final today. Yeah. And, and you can say, games are won on the bounce of a ball, and maybe today, they just got those 2 unlucky calls early on. That free kick, that was maybe a bit. And then the handball, I mean, I thought, when I saw it on the replay, I was like, man, he's brought his hand down, and it's like, because his hands were up when he jumped up. I mean, as you do as a player, you pull yourself up with your arms when you jump, but the way he brought his hand down, it looked bad, man. And it was just like, and the ball was going past him, and there was a French player there, and you're like, man, that guy could have scored, and it's like, maybe he didn't do it deliberately, but his hand's still in the way and stopping a goal. So, and the thing about, I was talking to a ref on Saturday, and he told me something interesting. He said, the way that football rules are interpreted by a ref is at a ref's discretion. So a ref has a rule book and the rules are in there, but then when it comes to the game itself, it's down to his discretion how he interprets the rule and an incident. So, the ref there, what's his name, Pintana, he obviously saw, he thought the hand came down, it stopped the flight of the ball.
Was he Argentinian?
Argentinian, yeah.
Was he the best ref in the tournament?
Well, he was definitely a good ref, I thought, but I thought there was that one other guy. He was, I can't remember his name. He was sort of big, stocky sort of dude with blonde hair, quite authoritative. He refed a few games. I thought he was, in my opinion, I thought he was the guy who got the final until I found out that it was the Argentinian. But no, who'd be a ref, man?
No,
honestly. I mean, and who'd be a ref in the World Cup final?
No,
I mean, mate, you know, it's like, did you see some of the play was so quick, and you're just like, how the hell would you referee that? Like, yeah, I have a lot of respect for referees, full stop, really. I mean, I can have a bit of a whinge at them sometimes, but...
Yeah, I like having a whinge at refs, mate.
Yeah.
Do it quite well at times. Hey, we're going to play another French little number.
I've got a good... Oh, no, yeah, I'll tell you.
Okay, after this
one on.
Yeah, okay, but here we go, and we'll come back to you guys in a minute.
Aux armes, citoyens, formez vos bataillons, marchons, marchons, qu'un sang impur revenons au sillon. Allons enfants de la patrie, le jour de gloire est arrivé. Contre nous de la tyrannie, l'étendard sanglant élevé, l'étendard sanglant élevé. Entendez-vous dans les campagnes mugir ces féroces soldats? Ils viennent jusque dans vos bras, égorger vos fils, vos compagnes. Aux armes, citoyens, formez vos bataillons, marchons, marchons, qu'un sang impur abreuve nos sillons. Nous entrerons dans la carrière quand nos aînés n'y seront plus. Nous y trouverons leur poussière et la trace de leur vertu, et la trace de leur vertu. Bien moins jaloux de leur survivre que de partager leur cercueil. Nous aurons le sublime orgueil de les venger ou de les suivre. Aux armes, citoyens, formez vos bataillons, marchons, marchons, qu'un sang impur abreuve nos sillons. Quoi, ces cohortes étrangères feraient la loi dans nos foyers? Quoi, ces phalanges mercenaires terrasseraient nos fiers guerriers, terrasseraient nos fiers guerriers? Grand Dieu, par des mains enchaînées, nos fronts sous le joug loiret de villes despotes deviendraient les moteurs de nos destinées. Aux armes, citoyens, formez vos bataillons, marchons, marchons, qu'un sang impur abreuve nos sillons. Amour sacré de la patrie, conduit, soutient nos braves vengeurs. Liberté, liberté chérie, combats avec tes défenseurs, combats avec tes défenseurs. Sous nos drapeaux que la victoire accourt à tes molles accents, que tes ennemis expirants voient ton triomphe et notre gloire. Aux armes, citoyens, formez vos bataillons, marchons, marchons, qu'un sang impur abreuve nos sillons.
We're back on, mate. What was that?
Oh, I was just going to say, Mbappe got that goal. He became, he equalled Pelé. In being a teenage World Cup final scorer.
Only two of them, two teenagers have scored in the World Cup final. He's one of two, yeah.
Yeah, there's another interesting fact. Pogba was the first Manchester United player to score in a World Cup final.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But he's only the third Manchester United player to win a World Cup because it was Charlton and Styles.
Yeah.
And but yeah, Mbappe with that goal, equaled Pele's record. But it's sort of there's a lot of talk these days about how Ronaldo and Messi, are they better than Maradona and Pele? And then it's something that I find a little bit irksome when people start comparing the modern players with the really good players of the past and saying that they're better. Is like, I don't think that you can make a fair comparison because you got to look at the way the game was back then. It was a lot harder. Like defenders could mash you, and then there was not even a booking.
Defenders could rip your head off, mate.
You look at if you watch some old highlight videos of those guys playing, like Maradona, Pele, Best.
Yeah.
Guys like that, they would just get hammered by defenders.
Yeah, but not just a one. It would be a back and again and again and again.
Yeah, or two of them at once would sandwich them and they'd jump up and carry on. And you got to think about their boots. Their boots were like bloody big leather, bloody
cowhide.
Yeah, like these huge sprigs and
with the woodlog balls.
The balls are like Well, imagine those balls when they were wet. It'd be like kicking a medicine ball.
The goalkeepers were bare hands.
It's crazy, man. And
it wasn't back in that.
You can't compare it to those guys. I mean, those guys were phenomenal in how well they could play with all those things.
Yeah, I mean, it's things. Times change, people change, expectations change, and it was like the money. I mean, I remember in Roy Keane, I think he went to Nottingham Forest, and when he went to Man United or something, I think he was
$3 million.
Yeah, but he was getting paid £5,000 a week.
Oh yeah, they signed him for only $3 million. Though.
Yeah,
but that was 1991. I think.
Was it then? But £5,000 was huge money, And today it would just be laughed at, But and it's. Yeah, isn't it amazing now? You wouldn't be taking $5,000 at any club in the Premier League, would you?
No, you wouldn't be very happy if you were. Bloody hell!
I've had a drop in pay. I've gone from £185,000 a week to $5.
Yeah.
Yeah, think yourself lucky you're getting anything and playing this beautiful game. What was your highlight of the tournament, my friend?
Oh well, what was it? I suppose in a way it was probably the final there. I mean, I did really enjoy that game, and I mean, even though it had those sort of I don't know moments that you sort of thought were a bit harsh on Croatia. At the same time, I thought the French really did play really well in the end. Over the course of the game, they did display that they were the better team. It wasn't like Croatia were absolutely robbed. I mean, things were a little bit harsh on them, but did they really have enough to beat France? And you have to say, no, I don't. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
And but yeah, highlight. I mean, I don't know. I mean, highlighted. There were quite a number of good matches, man. And I mean, that France-Argentina game was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
And
but I don't think anything came close as the Final Four being a final, though.
Yeah,
I thought it was a very good final.
Well, I mean, it's the best final I've ever seen, in terms of entertainment value. I mean, I did enjoy, say, like the Germany-Brazil final in 2002. I thought that was a cool game because Oliver Kahn was like in amazing form, and you were like, it was Kahn versus. I mean, Germany.
Ronaldo, wasn't it?
Germany were good, but it was Kahn versus Ronaldo, and it was like, man, is Kahn going to be able to keep him out? And then, can Germany? Is closer, and Ballack, and like the Germans had a great team that year as well.
And that's when Ronaldo scored 2, isn't it?
He got 2, yeah.
I saw that in Auckland, and one was a toe poke, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, I mean, he's just a great finisher, eh? Yeah. Such a good player to watch. I really did enjoy watching Ronaldo, mate. He was, really, he was like, he's one of those players that you watch football for. And and he restores your belief in the game as opposed to someone like Neymar who ruins it. And you're like, Neymar, why can't you be more like Ronaldo, mate? Just sort it out, buddy, eh?
And he's the one that, going back to what you're saying about one of those people that gets hacked. He just gets hacked and he jumps over ankles, feet.
Oh, Ronaldo?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, mate. He just got mercilessly hammered by people, eh? And it did his knee in the end, and he had to retire, didn't he?
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking, we've had a couple of songs. We've only had one song, actually, haven't we?
We played the French national anthem.
Oh, we've just played that, haven't we?
The bloodthirsty.
Now, tell me about that, because I just wanted to play it because obviously celebration for the French. But tell me, what does it represent?
I'm pretty sure it's about when around the time of the revolution and so on, and like the changeover of from France being a monarchy to a republic. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure it came out around then sometime, but it's basically about, it's a call to arms against, sort of foreign invaders, and, we'll water the furrows of our fields with their impure blood and all this sort of stuff. It's quite a bloodthirsty song, and it's like, cool. It's got a bit of oomph to it. I've always liked the French national anthem.
It's not bad for a national anthem, is it?
Yeah, it's a good tune. It's all right. It's like, you hear a lot of these anthems and you're like, man, what were you guys thinking?
Did you? I've got to ask you, mate. Did you hear our recent rendition of the anthem?
No, I still haven't. To be honest, I don't want to hear it.
You don't. You do. It's
I mean, I love New Zealand, but our national anthem, I don't really like it. I mean, it's okay, but I mean, surely someone could come up with a better national anthem. Like we should just.
Well, we're not changing.
We should get someone to write a new one.
We're not changing the flag, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, don't.
I like Kiwi laser. Have you seen the Kiwi laser one with the kiwi with the laser coming out of its eyes?
No.
Yeah, it's a goodie. You should look it up.
I will. Hey, so who was your goalkeeper of the tournament?
I'd have to say Courtois. I thought Pickford was pretty close here. I thought Pickford sort of carried the English a little bit.
I thought he did.
Yeah. If they hadn't had him, then they would probably been going home a lot. Earlier than they did. But Courtois. I mean, before the tournament, you're sort of thinking someone like De Gea, or even Lloris. Lloris is a good keeper, but man, that era today was just terrible. I mean, that's. He does do well for Spurs, but Courtois, I think, had an excellent tournament. And to think, I think Chelsea isn't he leaving Chelsea or something? I did hear that they're signing a new keeper. Yeah,
they've signed someone, haven't they? I saw something today that they've signed someone, a youngster, Jesper Schmeichel signed, hasn't he?
Oh, really?
Jesper Schmeichel, really? I think he's signed for Chelsea.
Oh, he's a good signing. I think he's come a long way over the last few years.
Very good signing. Stepped out of his father's, shadow.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's done well for himself. And, winning that league title was huge for him.
Definitely.
And he had an amazing season that year, didn't he? Yeah, he's another really good keeper. And see, that other guy, Alisson, was talked up a bit, the Brazilian keeper, and I thought he had a bit of a lackluster. There was one goal that he let in, and I thought maybe he could have probably. What do you say? There was the header where the guy pushed the defender. And, it's like, it was 6 yards out, though, and it was a rocket of a header, and it was a really good ball from Shaqiri. And, goalkeepers have it all stacked against them in some situations. But a keeper like that, and the way he'd been talked up, I was like, I thought he might have, got a little bit closer to that. But I
was disappointed with him, I thought he was disappointing. I thought he was a bit too Flash Harry sort of thing, the Brazilian keeper. I thought Pickford was fantastic. I thought he was really good, mate.
Yeah, he was good, wasn't he?
And he made some good saves. His distribution was fantastic. His distribution with, especially his feet, was fantastic. He knocked a great ball. Yeah. And so many times when he got balls knocked back to him, he was like that extra defender, and he didn't just hit the ball forward at times, getting out of pressure when they were under pressure, but he hit a quality ball up to the front guys, and he gave them a chance, Harry Kane, to compete for it and keep the position. So I thought he was great. But moving on to, who was your best defender? Did you have a favourite?
I'd probably say Varane. I thought he was awesome. He was huge for the French. He's like just composure and technical prowess. Yep. He didn't really look troubled in that entire tournament.
Yeah.
I don't think. I really don't. I can't think of a moment where it was like Varane was in trouble.
Where does he play?
He's at Madrid.
Is he at Real Madrid?
Yeah. He's a quality. There's a good video of him online, actually, and he's mucking around. And someone passes him the ball from across the field, and he puts his leg around behind his other leg, and he brings the ball down on his back heel.
Yeah, I know.
It's amazing skill, and it's just like, this guy's a centre back.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow.
Oh, well, I'll tell you a story.
Quality player, mate.
I'll tell you a story, mate. When we played France in Stade de France, and the All Whites from the Confederations Cup, and we warmed up before the game, and we were in the tunnel, and we sort of thought, well, because you're on to a beating or nothing really, and and the boys said, let's just get stuck into these guys, and give them what for, and at least, And then when we lined up before the game in the tunnel, half of the French guys had their shirts just over their shoulders. They were huge, mate. They were like big decathletes, they were like MMA fighters. They were beasts, and I thought, we don't want to be having a fight with these guys. We'll get beaten up, man. But and obviously give them a taste of Kiwi. But what I felt with them is they were streetwise as well. They were tough.
Oh yeah, man.
Really tough, and that's what all those players when you get to that level are like.
Oh, totally,
tough,
man. Yeah, that's one thing I think that is lost a bit in places like New Zealand, that people don't realise how strong and physically powerful these players are at the top level. Like they've got these guys could probably, they could. They're as big as the All Blacks.
Yep.
And that's how big they are. And people in New Zealand don't actually realise that.
They're huge.
They're just beasts. You imagine going into the 18-yard area, trying to defend a corner against like Pogba and Giroud and guys like that, and you just get mashed, mate.
Well, what happened? I remember at half time we'd sit in the change room against France, and and I'm sitting next to Vaughan Coveney.
Yeah.
And me and Covs grew up together, and I said something like to Covs. I said, it's a bit different from Newlands College against Onslow, isn't it, mate? So he's going, yeah, bro, a little bit. And we're just hosing ourselves, And I said to him, how's it going? He goes, I don't know what to do, Utz. And I went, what happened? He goes, Disayev.
Yeah, that guy's, he's massive.
He's the captain. He's the captain for France. So he was the captain. He goes, Covs liked to get his elbows up when he used to, go up for a header.
Yeah.
So Covs reckons he's gone up for a header, and and he's elbowed Disayev in the head.
Oh no!
And Disayev's got up and he got a free kick to Disayev, and he's gone, and he has quite a loud, high pitched voice.
Yeah.
He goes, hey man, you don't have to do that. You're so much better than that. That's what Vaughan said, and Vaughan looked up to him and thought, this guy's the captain of Chelsea. He used to be the captain of AC Milan or something. It's like. And he felt like saying yes, sir, to him and just getting up and running away with his tail between his legs. But, they're just... And another thing that happened when we were playing, they bring on subs that are playing for Arsenal and Barcelona and stuff, and we're like bringing on guys from Dunedin Tech and stuff. So, not quite the same. But obviously a pleasure to be there. But that
would have been an awesome experience, man.
Thierry Henry scored past me, and he was just, as I said, so quick. But moving along,
haven't they done well, the French, since sort of the mid sort of that turn? They sort of had that crop of players come through in the mid-90s.
Yeah,
and it's all to do, I think, with their sports science and their academy system, and they're the second youngest squad at the World Cup, and they had. I think on the bench today, they had 5 players who were between 20 and 25, and I think 3 or 4 of them were 20, 21, 22, and 21 or something, and then 25. And so that's a team that is going to, the next Euro, you could probably put a bet on now that they might win it, because...
well, they seem to be like, it looks like they're going to do what Spain did.
Yeah, it looks like it.
And sort of take it over. Like Spain now is going to have to readdress. I'd say there's a lot of the Spanish team now that are coming to the end of their tether.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
The PKs, that sort of stuff. Iniestas, all those guys have finished. Iniesta's finished up now.
It looks like Spanish football needs a bit of a shake-up in some way.
Yeah, I agree. They've got...
I could get Simeone managing the Spanish national team, turn them into like a Madrid.
Yeah.
Like Atleti, who are like hard as nails, concede possession... Get one goal, defend.
Exactly. But that Griezmann's just signed another extension, hasn't he?
Did he sign an extension?
I think he's signed
because there was some rumour of him going to Barcelona. I'm glad he's not.
No, I think he's just signed an extension. I may be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But you can. He's done it. Yeah, of course he has. Yeah. It was either that or the Football King. Not the Football Kings, the Phoenix. So.
Well, who was your was Courtois your favourite keeper of the tournament?
Yeah, definitely. I thought he was good, and then Pickford was second. But I actually thought. The final today was fantastic.
Yeah.
But I thought that Belgium were, for me, early on, good enough to get in the final. But obviously they're going to struggle.
Well, they're unfortunate to be on the same side of the draw as France, really,
definitely,
in the end.
Definitely.
Maybe they should have maybe they should have lost that game against England.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
And then they would have ended up in the final.
That's right.
But it's like, do you do that? Yeah, maybe you do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah.
It's like the old, what was it? Germany, Algeria did that once, didn't they?
Yeah, there's a few teams over the years that have done things like that, like purposefully lost games or drawn games or, won games by only one goal when they needed to. If they'd won by 2, they would have made right. So it's pretty crafty. I like it. I like that sort of thing, eh? It's sort of it's a little bit dodgy and sort of weird, but pretty cool.
They'll get away with it, yeah. Eight, moving along. Midfield player, Modric.
Yeah, Modric was awesome, but...
good to see him get player of the tournament.
Yeah, so. Definitely. I'm a big fan of of Pogba, though, and I thought...
Yeah, so am I.
I thought Pogba really put a lot of the negative talk to bed with his tournament. He was, his passing was on point, his running, he was strong. He was the player that Manchester United thought they were buying a couple of years ago.
Will he stay at United?
I hope he does. And I mean,
to go and stand out like that in a World Cup final, he's got to be pretty good.
Oh, yeah, the whole tournament he was good, though. Yeah. Even in the first game, I thought he was good against Australia. He was one of the few players in that first game that actually stood out and played well.
I just think he needs a coach that believes in him, mate, and gets to get the best out of him, which he has.
Mourinho's a funny guy, and I think the thing about Mourinho still is that he still hasn't got his team there. He's still using other people's players. And once he's got to get rid of Phil Jones. I think Phil Jones really I think Phil Jones is an excellent player, but I don't think he's a Manchester United player. I don't think he's at the... I mean, he got shown up with Hazard's goal. Like, that was terrible bit of defending by him. He turned his back and he lost Hazard. And he did the same thing to lose the FA Cup final.
I'm not going to say anything about Phil Jones.
Hazard's had him on toast for 2 really important goals in the last couple of months. And one was in the FA Cup final and one was in the World Cup's... what was it? It's the third place playoff. Yep. And Jones is... Mourinho, I think, would have seen that and he'd be like, "That's it, Jones. See you later. You're out."
I never rated Phil Jones, mate.
He was awesome at Blackburn.
Yeah, you keep telling me that, mate, but I didn't even know he was that good at Blackburn.
No, he was. Ferguson bought him from Blackburn because he was so good.
But he thought he was going to be great, didn't he?
Oh no, well, Ferguson said he was like, "This guy could be United's best player," and maybe that talk went to his head or something. But I mean, he's definitely. I mean, he's a good player, but I mean, he's not. He's got to do something. He's got to
Silva, is it?
Well, he's got to do something. He's got to sort. I mean, Jones has got to go back to the drawing board and I don't know, maybe try and lose some muscle or something, or just maybe he's too bulky. I think he's bulked up too much. I think some players sometimes do that.
Do you rate him as good as Smalling?
I think technically Jones is actually a better player than Smalling, but Smalling's more mobile.
Yeah, I think he's more of an athlete, Smalling, isn't he?
Yeah, he's better. He's got the better build out of the two, and Jones has got really good technical skills, but he's just too bulky and he's too slow to move, and that's what caught him out with. Hazard's too quick for him, and 2 times he's shown him up.
We've got a minute to go. Have we, Elia?
Goodness, I didn't realise it was that late.
Flowing by. Striker of the tournament.
Striker of the tournament. Giroud? No, just kidding. No, he did do well, though.
Harry Kane for the first quarter of the tournament?
Yeah, he only played... He played poor teams. I mean, I don't know. I mean, who would you say was striker of the tournament? It was Griezmann was pretty good, but I mean, it's a hard one to say. I mean, you'd have to say Mbappe, really.
Yeah, I was going to say Mbappe.
Yeah. I mean, because he didn't get perhaps as many goals as he could have, but man, he got good goals, and the one he got against Argentina, that was a cracker. Mm-hmm. Oh, he got 2 against them, didn't he? Mm-hmm. And I'd say he was my striker of the tournament. Yeah, he's just electric and dangerous.
He's just always got to give him something.
Yeah. He puts a fear in defenders, and that's what you like to see with a striker. Right? Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming and spending the World Cup with me. We've had a wonderful show, haven't we, in the last 4 or 5 weeks?
Yeah, it's been good.
We'll be back here again next week talking about probably football from the World Cup and just the aftermath. Yeah. And just anything else that happens.
Well, there'll be a bit of transfer stuff happening in the next few weeks. And
we're talking about the big New Zealand situation, what's happening down there. And yeah. Oh, it's nice to see there's things happening at Soccer New Zealand now. That obviously the CEO's gone as well, which is something that needed to happen. So that's looking like a positive now moving forward. Yeah. Elia, say goodbye to everyone, mate, and we'll catch you again next week.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for listening out there. There are our 2 listeners, and no, just kidding. Have a good evening and an excellent week, and tune in next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. See ya.